So 2017 was quite the interesting year for gaming. We had many great releases, but we also had quite a few flops and some weird controversies. In theory, I will never run out of games to play, especially given that I play a lot of older games and need a backlog, but sometimes it's really helpful to just have a few recommendations to help me dig through my backlog list or really prioritize what games I should be playing. So I'm EposVox, here to make tech easier and more fun with the games video today, talking about the 5 games that are worth your time right now. These games are all available right now on GOG.com. I do have an affiliate link with them. They are a site that provides DRM-free games so that when you buy it, you own it. You can install it as many times as you want, wherever you want. Some of them you can buy soundtracks with. Some of them come with cool little manuals and things like that. They have a really cool platform, and it's pretty good to get, an alternative to the main PC game distributor, just so you don't risk losing everything in case the monopoly goes sideways. All that being said, let's jump into the games.
And like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed.
First up, we have Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, I will say you do not need to play the first one in order to play this one. This is a sequel to a game that had a pretty hardcore following, but was something I could never really get into myself. It is an action RPG, and honestly, despite being indie published, it puts many AAA titles to shame. It runs really well, it's well optimized, and it's just such an engaging game, but it is really long. There is so much content here. So if there's any game on this list that is the ultimate bang for your buck value in terms of what all there is to do in the game, it is this one. The tactical options in combat are endless. There's different elements you have to balance. You can approach tactical problems in so many ways. You can develop your own party. There's so many different characters you can take with you. The systems run really deep. And like I said, you don't really need the experience with the first one. And some say that it has kind of a Dark Souls level difficulty. I don't find it to be that difficult, but it is a game that will challenge you and make you think. This game will run on Windows 7 and newer, as long as you have 64-bit and DirectX 11, and it also has a little DLC expansion if you somehow make it through it very quickly and want more content. Character customization is deep. You get to choose your background or your origins to get your talents and your kind of passive abilities, and then you get a build preset such as a warrior or an enchanter to choose your combat style. There's a nice hotbar at the bottom of the screen that has a bunch of different commands for you to use. You've got your typical traditional character sheet with all of your different stats, your strength, finesse, intelligence, constitution, memory, wits, damage, elemental damage, things like that. Lots of gear to manage, and it's just a lot of fun to run through the combat and to learn new game systems in a traditional kind of top-downy format. I thoroughly enjoy it and highly recommend it. Game number 2 might seem like a weird one. This is the Jazz Jackrabbit Collection, which is available on GOG. This one does go on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and part of what GOG does so great is that they do a lot of work to get older games, older DOS games and early Windows games up and running on modern machines, and they take care of all of that for you. So you just download it and you're able to run it. So of course, Jazz Jackrabbit will run on Windows 7 and newer, Mac OS X, and Linux under Ubuntu, which is pretty cool. This game came out in Windows 95 and is an action platformer. You're the little bunny with a very big gun on a mission to save the rabbit princess. Such a 90s concept. And it's developed by Epic Games, the developers of Gears of War and Unreal. Just a nice little action platformer, something a little bit different that you don't see every day, and just it has its own charm to it, its own character, and just something I think everyone should experience if you're a fan of action platformers at all. It's got colorful graphics, well-designed levels, kick-ass music, and really tight controls that make them really satisfying to play, and you can run it on pretty much anything. There is, of course, 2 different collections. There's the original Jazz Jackrabbit collection as well as the sequel collection, available up on GOG. And like I said, it will run on just about anything. Game number 3 is a game that, at least at the time of recording, assuming I can get this out today, is a game that isn't out yet until January 23rd. It is Iconoclast. This is a Metroidvania style action platformer developed over the past 7 years or so by a single indie developer. Pretty insane. That would be Joachim Sandberg, I believe is how you pronounce it. Apologize if I butchered it. It runs on Windows 7 and newer, and it's got really nice looking graphics, just really charming graphics. And from what I've played so far, my preview build only, goes for a few hours. I haven't played the full game yet, but so far it's got some really good action. They have some really awesome bosses in this game, and apparently the full game has over 20 screen-filling bosses. Got quite a few difficulty settings in case the default difficulty is too easy casual for you. And supposedly, the story ends in a kind of emotional way. So I'm very interested to see how the rest of the story of Robin the Mechanic unfolds. If you're into Metroidvania-style platformers, action games, go pew pew. This is kind of my favorite genre in terms of games that you would play on, say, the Super Nintendo. Like, these are the only kinds of Super Nintendo games I was really interested in, so I'm always a sucker for these, and I've been super stoked for this game to come out. Team Ninja, the developers behind Heavenly Sword, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, and DMC Devil May Cry, have figured out how to make an awesome and amazing looking game without a publisher. Yes, Ninja Theory published their own game with Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Very weird name for me to pronounce. I had to do like 3 takes on that. This game will run on Windows 7 and newer, and it's a very interesting, different game. The game has pretty much no UI. You are just wandering around this world. You are a broken Celtic warrior, and there's some mental illness elements at play. You have to decide, which elements of the game. I don't want to spoil too much. You have to decide which elements of the game are real and which ones are just in your head. You're basically fighting for the soul of your dead lover. It's got some really good action mechanics, some really good boss battles, and just really makes you think about the character's experiences and what's going on. This harkens back to when game developers, like especially during the PS2 days, I want to say, when game developers really just kind of treated games like an art form and just kind of experimented with what they wanted to see on screen instead of making the games everyone wanted to play. And I know that's kind of silly coming to say that, they're the ones who made the Devil May Cry reboot, a sequel in a series basically, but they've done a really good job here, and it's just that impressive that they've done it without publishers or pressure from publishers. Pretty cool. They do use what they refer to as binaural audio. Like, pretty much any game's going to have proper directional audio if you set it to stereo mode and stuff, but you do need headphones for this game. It's not... It has really good audio cues, things you want to listen to that get you immersed in the game. Now, this, despite how all the action screenshots and stuff may seem, this is not a hack and slash. It is very much atmospheric and just progressing through the story. There are fights, but it's not Dark Souls in that regard at all.
Why isn't she looking?
Why aren't you looking? He's in Helheim.
Look. Up ahead.
In Helheim.
You see it too?
You promised you gave you.
Yes. It is real after all. She's finally arrived in the land of mist and fog. The place the Northmen call Hell.
Turn back. Go back. Go back.
Last but not least, we have A Hat in Time. Now, this is a game my buddy BBK Dragoon was super stoked to pick up whenever I was showing him one of the recent GOG sales. I think it was the winter sale. It released last year. And he's like, oh, they have Hat in Time. I'm going to get that on sale. Great. And he played a little bit of it. And I was just like, what the heck is that? That sounds like some weird indie game. This is a 3D platformer that brings back the feeling of the Super Mario Galaxy games, the ones on the Wii, that just, it has such a cute character to it, such a fun feel. Like, if you bought Yooka-Laylee, which I did, I have the physical copy, I backed it on Kickstarter, and were disappointed at how great it was, this is what you should turn to. This has light-handed vibes, cute graphics, just a fun 3D action platformer experience. And anyone who likes those kinds of games should pick it up. In theory, it should run on Windows XP, Vista 7, 8, and 10 because it only requires DirectX 9. However, the officially listed system requirements do say Windows 7 and newer 64-bit, and you will still need a dedicated graphics card of sorts. It is a short game, but a fun game with great controls, just fantastic movement, and just a nice little take. Now, there is a big active modding scene, however, it is only on the Steam Workshop. So while, of course, I recommend picking it up on GOG if you don't care about the mod scene, because Steam Workshop's pretty limiting. If you do wind up getting up, or you do want the full modding scene to get more content out of it, Steam is an option, of course. Great game. Definitely recommend picking it up. And that would be game number 5. Some of these games are really, really cool. And honestly, I don't have enough time to put in what they deserve. But by making videos like this, I hope to put a little bit more time into games and to thoroughly enjoy them. And these are some of the ones that I have been enjoying the heck out of instead of the typical AAA releases. And hopefully you will too. These are 5 games worth your time right now if you're just looking for something to play. Pick them up on GOG, use my affiliate link. New account signups benefit the channel as well as those who just buy games through my link. Would be greatly appreciated. They're a great company. I've been working with them for a while. I've been trying to figure out how to bring it up. I had a few videos planned before that happened where I was going to promote them anyway. And so I've been circling back and just trying to make sure I talk about it in the right way, because they are a fantastic company. And I just go pick up these games. Hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite game from this list was. And I'll see you in the next one. This video is sponsored by viewers like you. Our videos would not be possible without the generosity of those of you who contribute to one of our fan funding options, be it donor box, Twitch subscriptions, direct contributions via PayPal, or Patreon. To join our inner circle and get behind the scenes looks at videos, go to EposVox.com/support to learn more, and join us on Discord at EposVox.com/Discord. Thanks.